I think that was good. Max, what did you think? Do you want to do this again? I think it was awesome, man. There's a story to be told.
Yeah, I definitely had fun. The problem is, today is unusual. Normally, it's about this time right now that I get done doing the videos.
You are.
I don't know what happened. I'm telling you, this was like meant to be or something, because I got through 3 segments of videos in an hour and a half, where it usually takes me 3 hours. It's just crazy. So I'd like to say, you know what? The game system still drives me crazy, but I mean, it's fun to role play. But I can't commit. At least not on Sunday.
Just ignore the rules system. Just play it. That's all.
I'll just keep rolling question mark dice. Then I don't have to worry about it. I don't know. Did I hit him? Yeah, you tell me.
I'll tell you this much. I think your character is really interesting, because even though this was, I don't want to say random. It was, what's the word? Off the hoof or something. But your character is very interesting because it ties in quite a bit with some of the things that are going on with some of the other characters. Very much so. And this really adds to the story, whether you continue with this character or not. This is a really interesting thing that's come about here. You know what I'm talking about, Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Cassandra had an experience very similar. And Althea has had several experiences. In fact, if you remember, Kyle, if you go back early on, there was an experience with a mysterious being in the woods who you ambushed. Remember?
Yeah, on Arthurian, yeah.
Somebody broke in Althea's house, and there was things going on, and snakes.
Yep. We went out there and put an ambush, but the guy got away.
But you guys have no clue what the hell that means or what role it plays, what's going on, which is cool. So now, Frey has had a similar experience, and I'm curious what he wants to do with that.
What's funny about a lot of this is I actually like playing sidekick characters. I mean, not like grovelly sidekick characters, but I do.
Sidekick.
Well, I mean not necessarily to one for support characters. I mean, so playing this. The struggles that I had really were trying to figure out the timing of how you do things, so I wasn't interrupting you, but at the same time doing some things with my character. I think I interrupted you a couple of times, but yeah, because I of course enjoy the roleplay aspect of the stuff. But what's important is what did Iron Man think? Sorry if Iron Man is still there. He's like, wait, what? But no, if I can figure, I'll talk to you sometime this week. If we can figure out the time, or I hate being characters that jump in and out because those are disruptive to games. You might convince me. You might twist my arm to see what you did. Is you got me in this time. It's a drug. It's one hell of a drug, isn't it? Yeah, first time's free. After that,
First time's free. The rest you got to pay for.
all right. Up, you're muted, sir.
Regardless of what system you're playing, it could be great fun, and I think this is good fun. Just ignore that side of it and think about your character. Think about your character and what he can do. And what I will do, I will look at your character, and I'm gonna give you a proper character sheet and fill him out, because he should have one. Right now you're just an NPC, but I'll fill that out. It'll be much easier for me and you if and when you play it again. And we'll see where we go with this. We'll see where Frey winds up in this story, because I think it could be quite interesting. Regardless of that it's Pathfinder 2. Regardless of that, this is a good.
Well, the one thing that didn't happen today is the two things. You know, the two things that drive me crazy. Neither of them happened today, so it was all good.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, the part where everybody's like, okay, for action 1, I'm gonna do this. Then for action 2, now do I get a bonus action from that? Well, hold on, let me look that up. It's like, God, just play.
Oh, that doesn't really happen. I've got these guys trained where they don't say action. Eric does, but he's still getting used to our flow. But for the most part, everybody just describes what they're doing, and we just resolve it. There's really no, okay, my first action is this, because that does disrupt it, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It's meta talk. We don't want that. So, and I think that comes with experience with the system. Really.
Sure. No, I I get that. I had fun. Look, I had more fun doing this than I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to jump in. I just didn't want to disrupt. Really, the biggest word for me was like, I just didn't want to come in and be like, oh God, I should never have had him play an NPC or some crap like that. It was like, so not gonna lie, I was a little kind of nervous at first, but you know.
Yeah, you did good. You did good, Max. I'd
But
love to
first
have you
time is
playing with us,
always
man.
Okay, Bubby.
I'd love to
This
have
is
you
like
playing with us.
This was a main character, I probably wouldn't have been so nervous. I would have just figured it out. But I know what it's like to have somebody play an NPC and then go off in the wrong direction. Like, that never should have happened. But
Yeah, enjoy
anywho,
that.
no, it's just good stuff. I hope you guys, you know, I wasn't trying to be whiny the entire time, but you know, I was looking at that. Was a level 1 guard. I'm not used to this nonsense. Like, what the hell? Like,
I mean, I think you played him right. I mean, you know, I think you did good.
Let me see what level he is, actually. He did
I thought-
actually swing at you at one point. He missed miserably.
oh yeah, I wasn't trying to hit that. I was just like, ah. You know, what's funny is because part of me is like, huh, is that him behind me or not? Well, it doesn't matter. My character, the way you described it is like something sneaky or something creeping up behind me, getting closer. I was like, no, you're not going to get closer. Go, oh.
Well, that played out perfect because I wanted you to be confused. I wanted you to do that stuff. Looking at your character now, you are level
Glad I can-
1.
Yeah. I'm glad I can roleplay confused.
You did a great job. I didn't have to.
Roleplaying-
I didn't have to implement the confusion rule. You did it on your own. Huzzah!
Absolutely, and he did really good with it. So.
Yeah. Did you like that, Kyle?
Kind of fed up, you know. We kind of fed off of each other, though. They're pretty good there for quite a few sections of it.
Well, my
Yeah.
number 1 goal was to make sure, number 1, this is your story, and number 2, I heard you talking before about kind of how, you know, the sidekicky thing, whatever, and okay, I can come in, I can do that. I don't have a problem. I don't have an ego in this game, so let's see what happens. And then I was like, when I said I'm just gonna walk by him, I'm like, God, I hope I am not disrupting this. Like, oh crap, now he has to figure out how to get us together or some nonsense again. But when you stood up, I was like, well, there we go. That's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I fed off of that, you know, because I'm a GM too, and you know, I understand that side of the fence as well, and like I could see Fritz kind of going like, huh, what do I do now? It's like, I'm gonna interject something here, and I'm just, you know, Vigro just sort of stands up, blocks his path. Have a seat, sonny boy.
See, the problem is in the game, if it was a game I was running, the PC would have been like, I stab him. I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. You know, some nonsense like that. Like, do you not understand that this doesn't have to be an ego thing? Like, look, he's a captain. He's tough. I'm just a city guard. I'm tired. He's bringing back memories of the past. Fine, you know what? I'll sit down, sir. If talking to you gets me out of this sooner, what do you want me to say? You notice that I kept calling you sir?
Yeah,
like, even though you told me not to like 5 times, whatever. I'm like, all right, sir. Well, even later on, like when we were in the woods, like I'm bringing that back. I'm bringing it back. I'm doing it again.
And you know, like we've never role played together before, and that's something that I can, you know, something that can be hard for people that have never role played before. But I think we did pretty damn good.
I was struggling without the camera. You guys don't know this, but I was doing things in front of the camera. Like when Fritz was describing some of my character's actions, I was like, okay, I can see that, and I was doing them like you know, because I again, this is why I like in person so much better. I'm like, then I look over, I'm like, oh crap, there's no camera. Nobody can see that I'm actually kind of trying to get into this because I'm doing facial expressions. I'm trying to show that my character's desperate, and so. For me, this is just for me speaking. This isn't a complaint or anything. I was over-exaggerating some of the vocal inflections just because the fact, I'm like, well, I have to get this across somehow that I'm stressed. So.
You could always put your camera on in here, you know. I put mine on.
Oh, make me the one loser, the kid that sits in the front row. I see.
What's the matter with you?
But
Yeah,
I think you did really, really good, especially not knowing my style and me not really knowing yours. I think, you know, we sort of gelled there quite quickly.
I enjoyed the interaction of you two guys. That was leave them alone stage. I like that.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that.
Well, 3/4 of that stuff we did literally on the fly.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's how I honestly, that's how I like to roleplay. I I know you guys are running. I guess it's a module, but you know, something programmed out here. I'm a more sandboxy player, not perfectly sandboxy, but I like, if things go south and they go into these weird directions, like, all right, well, let's see how we recover from this, but let's keep it going. I love interaction between characters pretty much more than anything else. And I don't know how you guys see games and so forth, but like, Shauner, he likes them to be like movies where they're one shots for, it lasts 2 to 3 hours and then you're done. I like them to be like, a 10-book series. I start as a nothing, and somehow through thick and thin, we all grow together. Maybe characters die, maybe new ones come in, whatever. But in the end, we look back 2 years from now and say, you remember when my character had that amulet that he got from a tree and he was all whiny? And now he's like owning his own domain and people respect him? What a growth. That's awesome. That's what I like to see.
That
I'm
little
very much
amulet.
on the fly.
It's like any really good story, any good novel. That little item, that little amulet, if we see that throughout the story, particularly at the very conclusion, that's an epic tale.
Just imagine something else too, Fritz.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Kyle?
Imagine all the choices that he's going to have to make with that amulet.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe it's cursed.
Exactly. As we role play this out over the months and years, imagine the choices that he can make with that amulet,
Mm-hmm.
And then when we finally get to the conclusion and he's standing there and we're all standing there victorious.
Over Mount Doom.
Yeah, that's
Do I throw it in?
right there. Yeah. We go from, like he said, this whiny little guy to him just being a complete badass. Probably peeing on Belcor's grave somewhere, clutching this amulet. It's can't tell it any better than that.
Yeah.
And the experiences that character has, whether they're free form or scripted or whatever, that shapes and sort of takes on its own little story in a way. So good stuff. I mean, I like it. I mean, I got Vegrod in. I got him established. He has a reason to be an Otari now. And then he's gonna have a reason to go into the Gauntlet. So, he's got reasons.
Yeah, it was. I mean, system does matter to me. I am one of those people that system does matter. So I would never sit here and be like, oh my God, I cannot wait to dive in. But at the same time, I also believe, even though you don't hear me say it on my streams much, that yeah, the people do help make it. It's just with all the systems out there, if I'm going to choose, what I'm going to play in, right now, beggars can't be choosers, right? But anything WotC, D&D, or Pathfinder,
Well,
I just don't find
you can say, from this point on, you can say, oh, I've played Pathfinder too. I've played it, so I know what I'm talking about. So you've got that.
The first time somebody asked me, well, so how did you handle this? I don't know. I just rolled a 20.
Exactly.
Next Sunday, hopefully, everybody will be around, including Rachel. And
When's she running her game?
What is she doing?
When is she running her game? I thought you said that she was running a game soon.
She's got a series of games she's going to run. They're one-shots. Like, they'll take, like, a couple sessions to play out, I guess. She wants to play them. She has them. She got them as a... once a month, she gets a package of role-playing goodies, and they include scenarios. She wants to play them.
Is it Pathfinder again? Or is she doing other games?
Oh, it's Pathfinder.
Oh, okay.
Pathfinder 2. And she's calling it Wondrous One-Shots. And she's going to be doing a whole series of them. She's going to be the GM. She's getting all set up on Foundry. And I'm excited to be playing in that.
I mean, I came from D&D 5e.
You did.
Basically, Max, a little bit of history from you. I came from D&D 5th edition, where you don't have a lot of crap. You don't have a lot of stuff to make a good character. And I came to Pathfinder, just sort of on a whim after some life situations happened. And Pathfinder 2e, I can see where its flaws are, but oh my God, whenever you go to sit down and back, you can dig in deep.
Yeah, that's just a different, we'll just say, philosophical style. Like, I mean, you can argue that Palladium does get like that, but I'm the type of person, I think that simpler is better now. maybe the phase of life that I'm in. So like for me, bang for buck, I would go with the Free League games. And I don't know if it was you, but somebody in your guys' circle here, I think had played Alien. The Alien
Rachel?
RPG. Is it
I think
Rachel?
it's Rachel, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would if I were to incorporate new people, I'm not talking to you guys specifically, but since I am talking to you, we'll just say it's you. If I were to try to invite you into something newish, I would invite you into Forbidden Lands. That would be where I'd make my start. It's rules light, roleplay. I'd like to say it's roleplay heavy, but it includes all of the stuff that kind of us grognards like. You know, it's got the combat, it's got meaningful spellcasting, but it also has a built-in survival mechanic and a built-in stronghold mechanic instead of waiting till level 9 for domain play, you know, in old D&D and so forth. And yeah, that just for me, the rules, nope, not rules, the crunch, the encyclopedic nature of Pathfinder and D&D 3 is what turns me off to it. And I made Bruce really angry recently when I told him multiple times, like, dude, I would play 5th edition other than that stupid & logo being on there because it's not D&D. But as a game system itself, I would play 5th edition every day of the week and twice on Sunday before I'd play Pathfinder or 3.5 as far as what I look for in a game.
It is crunchy.
But different strokes for different folks, so.
But I can also see where your point of it too. You know, like a simpler game gives you more time for role play.
Yes.
You know, and I was that type of person where whenever I was playing 5th edition, I was fighter main, but I would lean into those role play moments. You know, combats, whatever. I rack them in combat. You know, battle masters lead the way. But where those role play moments happen, that's where I found my personal bread and butter. And
yeah, I won't question like Fritz. I don't know if you noticed this, but 3 times I said I dropped the sap and I'm using the mace, and you kept coming back to the sap, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, you said that? I didn't get that.
I don't argue with GMs much unless I feel that he's trying to jerk me over. I don't know if either of you. Oh, Fritz, you said you have watched those Rifts Let's Plays that we've done. Man, that game master, I don't think is following any Palladium Rifts rules. He's just kind of using the Rifts concept. We do have character sheets. I don't know what he's rolling for, but again, it's the role play aspect of it. And as long as I don't feel that the game master is trying to screw me over, which he hasn't, at least I don't feel he has, and I trust GM Fritz with my life when it comes to this. Yeah, I'll just tell me what I'm rolling. Did I succeed? Did I not succeed? All right, let's go for it. I'll react to that the way I think my character will. And yeah, it's all about the role playing for me, not a LARPer. I absolutely believe there's a game aspect to this, but I really, really, really like the role play. If Fritz can sit back for 2 hours and not do a damn thing whatsoever, and we're just yapping with each other, I'm probably having a good session.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on when you did make die rolls? When you did make them, what's your thoughts on that? Because I thought they were appropriate moments to roll, and I didn't think it was overwhelming rules-wise. Like, oh, here we go with a die roll. I'm looking at it. Why would I roll? Every moment, I think, merited a die roll when you did make them.
The only one that caught me off guard, but it actually made sense when I thought about it, was when I was saying that, yeah, I'm just walking nondescript, because I really wasn't intending to hide. I just wanted to be an unremarkable face in the crowd, so to speak. And then you had me roll that stealth roll, and I was like, I don't know why I'm rolling stealth. But when I thought about it, I was like, actually, it kind of makes sense. I am trying to be an unremarkable. Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? That does make sense to me. So, I had no problems with any of the rolls.
Good. Good.
But I'm out, guys. Y'all have fun. Be safe. Stay
Night,
dirty.
Kyle.
Love
Night,
you.
Kyle.
Love playing with you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me join. Have a good night.
Hey, you're always welcome, Bubby. Either at Fritz's table or mine.
Thank you.
Kyle, you still there? Oh, he's gone. Okay. He just cut out there at the end abruptly.
Yeah. No, but I do appreciate it. I'm glad you got to actually have me roleplay. I'm not lying, though. Like, the 2 things that I was like, uh-oh, is I didn't know when I was supposed to speak and not, because I know you like to do your thing, and I'm like, a couple times there's this dead silence. I'm like, oh, was I supposed to respond to that? And then you're like, but you kept going. It's like, okay. Because again, I'm one for, I like to have my own agency of my character. And so I can't tell when you stop. But it's like, so I was actually feeding off of him for that. And I kind of figured, I think I interrupted you twice. Sorry. But
That's why I keep my camera on if the players are looking. And usually you can make this chat a pop out, so you could be looking at Foundry and still see the video thing, so they can see me. And I try and take advantage of that. So when they see me getting real close to the mic and I'm taking a pause, they know. I usually got my hands up. I'm getting ready. Here I go. Here it comes. The big pregnant pause. It's coming.
I mean, I'm not the type of person. In fact, these type of players kind of anger me, where it's like, because I'll do the monologue, not often, but sometimes you have to have this. Mr. Bond, what you don't understand is, you sometimes have to have that. At least I feel you do, and I think it'd be a fun time. And I really get annoyed with players who are like, I shoot him. He's not even going to talk. I shoot him. It's like, no. Part of being a good player is to kind of understand when the game master is setting a tone. And so I've watched you enough where it's like, I feel like, okay, I've got this kind of down. Because believe me, if this is my first time, if I didn't know who you were, I've been interrupting you like, I don't know, every 10 seconds or so. Because I'm used to having more role play, more agency, more exposition with regard to that. And this isn't a complaint at all, but I've watched you enough where I think I've got it down-ish, You
did good.
I really just don't want you looking into the camera going, "Are you done, Max?" I was going to say something, something like that. Like,
get this guy out of here. I've had enough.
I thought Max would be fun at the table, but I was horribly mistaken.
Nah, that was good. I didn't have any talkovers and stuff. You were doing good with that. You know you knew what to expect, so you should.
The other thing was I didn't want to over exaggerate the fact that I was kind of blaming him for all the bad that was happening, but I wanted to see how he reacted to it, and he's got that stoic silent type. It's like, dude, I'm gonna get under your skin if you keep doing that, because I'm gonna keep whining until you convince me that the whining should stop. But that's when you did the darkness and the light and so forth, and it's like, okay, you know what, that you were saved, Kyle. You were saved. It's like, yeah, so you still streaming on YouTube right now or no?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Just a little after
That's
convo.
Cool. So he can listen to this later.
He could. I don't know if he does. But I'm glad we had a session anyway. That was a close call, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I just wish I had more time. Really, I'm more confused. To be honest, I am more confused about the fact of how I got done editing everything beforehand. And I went down my list. Like, I went to my written notes and said, okay, I've got to be missing something here. There's got to be something I didn't do. I'm like, nope, did that. Nope, did that. Like, my entire note said I was done. Okay, weird, but I'll accept it.
Well, when do you have free time to do anything? I play on Sundays. I mean, I know you're
free time. No,
I know you're doing your stuff on Sundays. You got your stream in the afternoon, and then at nighttime you're streaming away.
Well, when we were talking about doing like Axe or Rule Cyclopedia or what was the one before that you're talking, like Alien or whatever, I think Monday was the best day for me, but there are a lot of people who couldn't do Monday. Other than that, I've found very few games I hate. I mean, no matter how much I talk about it, I said, I don't know how to properly say. I wish somebody could get in my head and pull the words out what my direct issues are with Pathfinder and D&D 3. Because I've played a lot of D&D 3. All my friends changed to it. But I never liked it from the day I first looked at it to the last time I ever played it.
Well, I think Pathfinder 2, and you should give it a chance to play, because it is not Pathfinder 1. It is a far superior version of Pathfinder 1, but it streamlines all that nonsense that was in there, all that clutter and stuff that just was too much and made combats last hours, particularly if you're using more than just the core books, which is ridiculous. And that's where it got its reputation, Pathfinder in general, Mathfinder.
Yep.
Because it's terrible. But if you sat down and gave Pathfinder 2 a chance, it's actually a really tight, balanced system for doing what it does, that being a level-based, class-based system, which also includes a skill system. It's D20, so it's that. But that's it. It's something you should give a try. Don't go looking at it through the lens of Pathfinder 1, because it's not the same game. Yeah, and I enjoy
you,
it. So.
You telling me that you don't do that? Well, not that you don't do it's part of the game, but you don't overtly do that action stuff goes a long way for me to say, okay, let's it's probably good. And to be fair, people have talked to me about Pathfinder 2 for a couple years, and I can tell you that almost every time I've heard of Pathfinder 2, I've told people that I would definitely like it, or at least through the conversations, it seems like I would like Pathfinder 2 much better than Pathfinder 1 or 3.0 D&D.
I think at least you'd see that it's a better version of those games. But like I said, it's once you play it, that whole idea of, okay, I have 3 actions and a reaction. What am I going to do? Okay, action number 1, I'm going to draw my sword. Action number 2, I'm going to strike. And action number 3, I'm going to intimidate. That's part of the mechanics of the game. But that stuff, that way of describing what you're doing, goes away after a while because if you're new to the system, you're going to describe it that way. But through experience, you don't say those things anymore. You say, I'm drawing my sword and I'm attacking. Then with a loud voice, I say whatever to intimidate. You describe it more. You don't have to do the meta thing anymore. And like with the players that are in my campaign now, for the most part, they don't use action terminology, meta terminology. They just describe what they're doing.
To do with first person versus third person, because my tables I require first person. Now, not everybody remembers that, and some people aren't comfortable with it at first. And yeah, I mean, but what happens is we have the people sitting on the table, and we're all doing it, and people, unless they're being obstinate, will finally just kind of fall into place with that and realize that they're doing first person.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to be an example, but even then I sometimes, okay, if this action I'm going to do, I'll say action, but it's part of the mechanics of the game. It's a game. Right. It's okay if I slip up now and then. It's still just a game.
Yep.
And it's okay. But, for the immersion in the narrative, you don't want to do that. And you try not to. It just makes sense. And I think the players get that. It's immersive for everybody when you just use the narrative way of describing things.
Yeah, I mean, we struggle with that in Palladium too, because those characters have 4, 5, 6, 7 actions, whatever happens to be per round. I think the RPG is dumb handles it really well in ours. We'll say action on occasion, especially when we're trying to figure exactly where we are and when we're doing things. But I tried to the best of my ability to do the genre thing. This is where I am. This is what I'm doing. Your game was a little different with regard to that today because you were very clear about telling us where we were. So, okay, now all I have to do is say, well, this is what I'm doing in regard to that. And I do think that Kyle did, I'm the outsider here acting like, yeah, he did okay. No, but but I think he did a really good job of feeding off or kind of seeing what I was doing, whether directly or indirectly. Because I will tell you, I was worried twice that I was derailing stuff. The first one was when I was like, screw that, I'm going to walk by him. I was waiting to see if he was going to play tough guy. Because if he was, I was going to fight him. Yeah. And I was like, please don't play tough guy. Or if he's going to let me go outside, and then I was going to be like, well, crap, what do I do now? And the other one, when I was blaming him, like, why? This stuff came from you. You brought this here. But I can't remember what it was, but I think it was maybe the world turning black around us or whatever. But something in the scene changed, so that didn't need to be done so much anymore. But I was waiting to be like, are you done crying? You keep saying this. You know what? Calm down. I was like, no, not going to calm down. You brought I have a note card here with things I was going to say on it, by the way. Like I do. I was like when this scene ends, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to do. Yeah. And that was good that he fed off that. I wonder how some of the others would have. I think both of the Rachels would have been good. I'll tell you that Foundry was easy to understand on the screen. I know, like, you're trying to tell me where to look for a couple of things and so forth. And for whatever reason, I was missing up my left and my right. Like, I needed to do an L or something with my thumbs because I couldn't figure out left and right a couple of times. But everything was there because sometimes I will get stressed, like, oh, crap, upper right. I don't see it, even though I'm staring right at it kind of thing. Nope, yeah. It's above your character. Oh, above the character. Oh, yeah, I see it right there.
Above.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty intuitive. And like I said, if you ever use it to run your games, I think you'll love it because it doesn't have to have all this stuff that I use. It could just be the music and maybe some pictures for the moment to evoke emotions or whatever, to set the scene. Do you prefer to be a GM or a player, Max? Just curious. What is your preference?
I can't answer that now, but I can tell you in the past I would have told you it's a player because I love playing characters, but I think I prefer being a GM.
As do I.
That it's weird for me to say that because I really love playing characters. But I have the most fun, I think, when I'm the game master. But when I'm the game master, I'm not gonna lie, I do miss, like, man, I wish I could just play a character. That would be great. And then I play characters like, man, I wish I could be a game master. That'd be great.
I'm a GM for life, and I do love it. But this is really my first time really digging into a character and playing, and that's in Kyle's campaign. And it's taken me a while to get used to it. It's because it is different. But man, I'm really starting to get into it. I mean, focusing on one character, getting into his mind, and finding ways to bring that out in the game in a natural, organic way. It's a fantastic experience, and I'm loving that. I don't think I love it more than GMing at the moment, but I am digging it. So
Part of me is really glad that you guys didn't have a camera on me for a couple of things, because I really do. I mean, I said you might have seen some of it for the Rift stuff, although that character is a little bit more directly me because that was intended. That was RPG is dumb. But I'm sitting here, I'm telling you, I'm making certain motions, I'm doing certain facial expressions, I'm doing certain things. Like I'm trying to get in the headspace of this character that I don't even know. So I'm just like, okay, let's feel it out, let's feel it out. And I'm like, and I look over, it's like, oh, they can't see me. Okay, good. What's he doing over there? Is he doing a mantra? What the hell is that?
Oh, I gotta have my camera on when I role play.
Well, I couldn't turn it on right now if I wanted to, because I have all the, once I turn the stream off, I turn all my cameras and everything. It's on a separate power source. So,
That's okay.
One time I did hear you say grog, and you're like, Max, like, I know you said grog. The other time was my fault, because I was like, am I supposed to chime in now, or is he pausing thinking of another word? Like,
Yeah.
So I can feel that out later.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I had fun.
Okay.
I really did. I had fun.
Good.
I honestly, I role played in this the way I like to role play. I did what I was going to do, and then you had stopped at some point and said, roll a die. Okay, that's how I like to play.
Yeah, I figured. That was good. I enjoyed that. And that's pretty much the way it is with our sessions, except for combat. I'm curious how you'd react to the combat.
Well, it might be in some regard where I'm the problem in that one. And I don't mean for hearing somebody else say that, but I don't like to say, okay, for my first action, or even pair up where the actions are, because I might think something's an action and you think it's not, or vice versa. More commonly, I don't think it's an action, but you do. The way I play it is, when you tell me to stop and roll the die, I stop and roll the die. That's just how it is. So, like the example that I used at work the last couple weeks is, hey, all right, I run up to the door, I kick the door open since the door opens inward. I put my head in, I look both ways, and if I see somebody I want to attack, I'm like, okay, stop. You run up to the door, you kick it open, you get your head in and look both ways, but at that point, no. In fact, you can stop and make a roll to kick open the door. Oh, I don't get to attack? No, not this round, because this is where your set of actions ends. I get it. That's cool. You see what I'm saying? Like, you as the game master, just stop it where it's supposed to stop. Tell me to make the roll where I'm supposed to make the roll, and there we go. So if that would be a problem, I can try not to do that. But that's how I like to do it. Like even when I was swinging behind me wildly, I pretty much assumed there was nothing there, but my character wouldn't. If you'd been like, okay, how many times are you gonna swing? I'm going to swing until my arm's tired. I don't care. Tenton was like, I'm swinging over here, and I'm swinging over there, and I'm swinging behind. No, nothing is going to get near me. I don't care. And if you'd have been like, well, you're swinging around, and you took 4 points of damage because as you were faced to the left, something from the right hit you, I'd get it. I'd be like, yep. Like, I'm just being wild right now, so.
Yeah, that wasn't even in combat. That was just to see if you hit him.
Yeah.
And you failed. Mr. Level 1 against Level 5.
So that was later when I turned around and swung at him. I kind of assumed it was him, but at the same time, a couple of things had happened earlier where it's like, oh, is that going to be me? Oh, that's not me. Okay, never. So I like the way you described that. Like, and I've said that before. I really like your descriptions of the rooms. I've just got to feel out when it's time for me to talk and when I'm supposed to let you go. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, at this exact point, my character would definitely do something, but I didn't want to interrupt. Like, okay, I can wait. I can wait. Sit nicely.
Yeah, I know. I could tell. I know you pay attention to that stuff. And if you're not looking at the camera, it's going to be difficult to know, should I say something?
Well, I'm looking at you. I was looking. Sometimes I was looking at the, what do you call it thing? The Foundry, just to look at where buttons and so forth were. And then I realized, like, oh wait, I can see them when they're moving their mice. Well, I don't want them to see me moving my mouse. So I stopped.
I don't think you can see mine. I have it off.
Yeah, I think
you can see
I
Kyle's.
just saw Kyle. Yeah, I saw Kyle.
Yeah, mine's secret.
It is funny that he had orange dye, but we had different numbers. We had different color for the numbers.
The Legion of Myth die. Yes. Orange.
I gotta darken that orange a little bit. It was a little bit bright. I put in the official hex code for the Legion of Myth color, and then I realized, like, that's kind of a yellow orange.
Yeah.
Fix it next time. I'll go with the blue next time and see what happens. I'll do the Legion of Myth blue.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know as time goes on here, and what I mean by that is sometime this week. If I can make this work out. Sunday is just, you do realize. What my point is, I don't want to be a detriment to your group, and I know you're better about having people pop in and out than I am, but I still don't like it conceptually, and I'd hate to be there half or a quarter of the time. It's just.
I know.
It's just not right for your group.
I know it doesn't fit your style either. But that said, I do have a couple other players that are just like you. I call them cameo players. They come in and they play when they can, and they play in the session. Like the guy that plays Lofter. That's Ryan. He's in my chats all the time, but he never has time because he's got 3 little ones he's got to take care of and all this other stuff. But he does find time occasionally. And he's going to have time next month. He's got a whole month off. In fact, he's going to a convention or something, and he's going to have time to play again. So he's going to have some sessions with us.
That's
awesome,
okay. So you have all your players. You'll have him, and maybe I can. But you're going to have a full group, 8 people. That's awesome.
Oh, God. Yikes. I better hide. And when you're available to play, boom, take him over, roll some dice, and that kind of thing. He's still there.
I just have one question then. And
yes, you do.
If this is a spoiler, I get it. Don't answer it then. But is that brooch amulet going to be meaningful? Because if me being there or not being there, if that item has something to do with the adventure, that could suck for them.
Maybe it will be.
I can convince some people of some things like, my precious.
It's mine. It's mine, I tell you.
I can red herring the heck out of anything. Okay. No, that's good to know.
All right, Max.
You have a good night, sir, and thanks again for letting me jump in. And anybody who watches this later, if it's still being streamed, Kyle, everybody, thanks for letting me play.
Okay. I'll see you, Max. I'll talk to you later in the week. And thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Right out.
All right. Take care. All right, folks. And Iron Man, thanks for sticking with me tonight, listening in. Let me read one more here for you. I wish I had a setup where a large monitor was the table for in-person play. I would use Foundry for the battle map and showing pics, journal notes, tiles, enemies, and such. Yeah, that would be cool. I had a program that did just that. I've never used it that way, but it was called Arkenforge, and it's specifically meant to be used that way, but you can use it on a normal monitor and play online with it, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles yet that Foundry does. It's called Arkenforge. But, yeah, you'd have to have a table with an extra monitor anyway. But, yeah, I could see myself using Foundry in-person play as well, because it streamlines already streamlined gameplay as far as I'm concerned. For face-to-face, it would be even better because you're not going to be dealing with lag, since it's just you in there running the game face-to-face. But yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. Good times indeed. All right, and we'll see what we can do with the story from here on out, as the snake cults descend on Otari, the real menace. We shall see. The story continues. All right, folks, we'll talk to you again soon. Again, take care, Arn. And thanks once again, Max. I will see you all again soon. Take care, folks.